Hello and welcome to the McCord List today. I'm Rachel McCord, your talk show bestie. I'm really happy you're here. I don't know if this is your first time or you've been here many times before, but I'm really thrilled. So what you might not know about me is that I grew up in trailer parks in Georgia, worked really hard to get through some trauma and drama to sit here in front of you and talk to you about living life and living it to the full. That's what we're all about. We talk about faith, fitness, entrepreneurship, family, and everything in between. It's all about helping you take away these life lessons that can help you live life a little bit more intentional, maybe a little bit more present, and hopefully a little bit more filled with purpose. I know that every day as we grow in this life, many of us are coming to a place where we're asking ourselves, what is my life really about? What's the purpose? What am I doing? What am I here for? And I think the question is so important. And I think that it's one of those moments where we're invited to either answer that question with intentionality, maybe some evolution and evolvement as ourselves, growing as a human being. And other times we might be thinking, hey, you know what? I don't like where I'm at, and then just kind of throw it all away. And I think that's what a midlife crisis looks like. But I think if you can actually appreciate that question that says, is this all there is? There's actually a lot of beauty in that, because it's really a deepening desire within you to a call to something more, to something bigger, that something says that you matter and that you're meant for more. And there's something for you that's waiting for you. I think so many times as we go through this life, we find ourselves running into all these many directions, maybe oftentimes being pulled in a lot of different directions, from relationships. Suddenly we're thrown into business and we're trying to help everybody build their own dreams. And then maybe we get to a point where we ask ourselves, is this really my dream? Or did this job scope creep into something new and find itself moving me into something that maybe I didn't intend? And suddenly you look at your life many years later in relationships and with children and running from soccer practice to karate to drama class. And you might really ask yourself, like, is this it? Like, am I living the life I was created for? And I think that when you take a second and you ask that, it gives you an opportunity to look within and to remember that, yes, you matter enough. You matter enough to not be afraid of that question. It's okay to look at what is and ask it to be something more. Maybe it's a deeper conversation with your spouse. Maybe it's an invitation to sit down with someone that you love and to share what's going on in your life. We cannot live this life just pushing away these deep moments and not allowing these opportunities for growth. Our first guest today is an incredible person who is all about growth. I think if I could really sit down and summarize him as a human, he is all light and all love. His name is Travis White, and what you might not know about him, before he built this incredible brand, I'm going to put it on, Ravent, these sunglasses, you guys, check it out. Can you even? He's amazing, you guys. He's a designer. He's an influencer. He is a thought leader who's making an impact in social media and entertainment. But what you probably don't know is that he actually got his start growing up in Louisiana. He is from a small town. He moved to Wisconsin, and as a big fan of Kim Kardashian herself, he decided that he was going to work hard and build her brand on social media as a fan page. So he wasn't affiliated with her at all, but he loved her so much. He wanted to support her brand. So he created his own Instagram handle. And the story today, I think, is going to blow your mind. He's amazing, and pretty sure you're going to be pretty intrigued when you hear how he got Kim Kardashian's attention by just doing what he loves to do. And I think that that message is such a good message for all of us, to remember that this inspiration to go for your dreams because you matter and you're loved, and who you love and what you love is so important to be mindful of, and be honest and raw with yourself. Listening to yourself and being true to yourself starts with honesty. It starts with looking within and asking yourself tough questions. I hear so many people, so many times, and myself, I've asked this question, like, how do you look within? How do you take a step back? Well, for me, I think journaling is probably the most impactful way to do that. My mom is actually a big advocate of journaling, and she's encouraged me to do that a lot. Sometimes when I feel like I'm overwhelmed with all the feels, I'll jump into my notes and just write out what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking. And then in the process of doing that, you can reflect back on what you've said or what you've written and find something different that might be wanting to pop out and come out. And so I think about how when we talk about on the show about living life to the full, that's what this is about. This is about asking these questions and having these conversations that cause us to look a little deeper and to be a little bit more real. I've listened to some amazing shows over the years, and some of my favorites are when you see someone sit down with another person and really challenge what is. You know, I think about myself as a mom. There have been so many times when I've heard songs or sayings that we just say to kids, and I'll be like, wait, why do we say that? Why are we singing that song? And it's just something that we know. And I think so many of us, because we like to spend 90% of our time using 10% of our brains. We're not really challenging ourselves because our brains want low friction. Our brains want to do what they've done again and again because it's easier. In fact, it's most likely that around the 14,000 thoughts you have today are about the same as you had yesterday, and you'll have tomorrow if you don't change your thoughts and change your life. And that's why I think conversations like the one we're about to have with Travis White are so important, to remember that you matter and what you have to say matters. And then our second guest is amazing, you guys. His name is Kenji Urabi. He is a 16-year-old entrepreneur, and he started his business at just 10 years old. It is an amazing story of how he created the brand Kid Fish, about how he created the brand Fish Kid. It's all about creating education and products to help you get out on the water and do what you love, if that's fishing. Maybe you didn't know it's something that you love, but it is a great opportunity to get outside and to experience life and nature. It's so intriguing talking to someone who's 16 years old, runs a business with his product in over 700 Walmart stores across the country. I think it's amazing because it's a great reminder that yes, you matter. And with that comes a call to do what you're most passionate about. Kenji is very passionate about fish, and that's how he created this brand. He knew it was something that he wanted to do, a story within his heart that he wanted to tell. And it's so exciting talking to him. I literally just met him. He is a good friend of my husband's with his dad, and I just got to know him very recently, and just sitting down and hearing him say, it had to be fishing because that's just what I love. And he talks about how he's dealt with anxiety, but that when he gets on the water and he's in nature and he's in these beautiful places doing what he loves, that he reconnects with himself. And I think it's a great reminder for all of us that whatever helps you connect. Maybe you like grounding, where you go outside and put your bare feet in the grass and just ground yourself with the world. It's a great way to get really present because our lives spin so fast. Our obligations are so long and the responsibilities are so loud. But sometimes if you can find that space between, to journal, to write, to process, to breathe, to slow it all down and to find a connection within yourself, I think that's really the key to living the life that you were intended to live. And I love that I get to sit down with one of my new friends, Rochelle Broden. She is a former top model. She has modeled in shows for Roberto Cavalli. She has done all the things. She started when she was 15 years old. And today she's a photographer for the incredible company Getty Images. You've probably seen some of their content. I love Getty. Every time I go to an event and they film for Getty, I'm like, oh my gosh, hi Getty, I love you. It's amazing. She worked really hard as a single mom, going to school, trying to build this business, and now she does weddings, she does events. She is just amazing and so gifted. She's photographed me and my sister, Annalyn McCord, in her career as an actress, both on 90210 and Days of Our Lives currently. Seeing this incredible person talk about how she's living life that she's dreamed of, I think it's so inspiring. And I think the message of today is really you've got to do what you're here for. That's what this life is all about. It is precious, you guys. You don't know how many heartbeats you have, and you cannot waste one. And when I say that, I mean that it's really important that you're connecting with the people around you. One of my favorite sayings is the most important person is the person who's sitting right in front of you. And it's true. Everything is competing for your attention in this world. But when you can sit down with someone and you can hear their heart and you can encourage them along the way, I think that that is the greatest gift, the present. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't go anywhere. When we come back to the McCord List today, we are going to sit down with Travis White. I'm Rachel McCord. I'll see you in a few. Welcome back to the McCord List today. I'm Rachel McCord. You guys, I'm so excited because we're about to chat with one of my favorite humans, Travis White. Hello there.
Well, hi there, honey.
I am so excited. Designer, influencer from Louisiana to Hollywood. You've made quite the jump. So let's jump right in. So you've created this amazing brand, Raven, and your focus is all about passion with community, identity, feeling like you're really seen and inspiring others. Can you talk about what inspired you to create this brand?
Yes. So, a little backstory about it is I did go to school for fashion and design. However, I did take a turn in my career being a social media manager for Kim Kardashian for 5 years.
Okay,
Yes.
wait.
I know.
How did I not know this until today?
Well, because I normally keep it hidden for some time because it's like, I try to build my brand upon myself.
Yes.
So that's why I came to LA because I was doing it for the past 5 years, being that we separated and parted ways because she was so inspired of my movement of coming to LA, being an influencer activist. She was like, you need to work for yourself and you need to make your own business. And I was like, Kimberly, I literally went to school for this, but I'm so scared. But she was like, you've helped me do it for so long, so do it on your own. So she helped me and guided me to where I then decided to come out with sunglasses because I was always known behind sunglasses. People were like, what sunglasses are you wearing for years? Being that I decided to do my sunglasses brand, being that I wanted to make a bold statement and share love and light for people that went to school like me but didn't know how to do the business on their own and figuring out with connections and everything. But then I also wanted to bring in a brand that represents love and light because we have so many brands out here that's making missions just about to make the money, but I'm all about making a change and an impact in the world.
Oh, I mean, every time I talk to you, I just love you a little bit more. You are so full of love and light.
I love you.
Wait, so tell me, how did you get this gig working for Kimberly? How did that happen?
So the way that I got that is because I literally was on social media. I've been doing social media for a very long time and I've been super passionate about it. However, I decided to make like a fan page for her as just like a hobby. And then it was a hobby and it was something that I was doing that was on as like a side job. But then showcase the brand, I kind of made it as like a community building page versus just like a fan page, keeping up with her because I knew that back in 2017 that she was going in a different direction with her brand. So I made a community building page for her because it was all of the negative noise out there about her and I wanted to shed her in a positive way of these are the things that she's doing. She's a boss. Let's showcase these things about her. So I did it for about a couple of months and the page instantly boosted off to about 50,000 followers. Everybody just started paying attention to it because it was very professional in a way that it seemed like it was her brand, but it was somebody else behind it. So no one ever knew until I connected with Kim through there. So I connected with her through there and then she kind of like helped me out, like gave me sometimes like, oh, I'm gonna be at this place. Like, let me give you the photographer just to have a little more representation for her in a presentable way. So I wasn't working for her during that time. However, fast forward when I had the page and it had over like 100,000 followers, she came to me and she was like, hey, I had a cool idea. Like, I want to talk to you about something. We had a conversation after she followed me. We talked about this going on for 2 years. And she offered me the opportunity to be her social media coordinator, migrating me up into her manager, doing the production, design, and stuff for her behind the scenes. And I did it for 5 years, and it was brought me out to LA because I needed to further my career in that. And I was super passionate about it. And it was like one of the best experiences I could have possibly had.
Wow, what an inspiration. So you're living in Louisiana at the time. And you
Not
just, no, where were you
Louisiana. So
living?
I was actually living in Wisconsin with my
Okay.
previous ex. So I was there for 7 years.
Okay.
However, started working for her in 2019, and then shortly after COVID had happened. So I was in Wisconsin during the time before moving to LA.
Whoa. So you came here from there, and here you are in this town with big aspirations, wanting to have your own brand, build something really epic. And you literally create a channel on your own, doing it your own self, just working hard. Kim Kardashian notices it. Then she slips into your DM.
I know.
This is the best story ever.
I know.
And now here you are all around Hollywood, going to every event, helping everybody showcase their brands. You've worked with some of the most viral campaigns of all time. And you've created your own collection, taking a huge risk on yourself. All right, I have a big question for
Yes.
you. How did you know that you were ready, to make that jump? Because entrepreneurship is so scary.
I didn't know during the time that I was ready, but I just took faith and believed in God and trust the process. And I was just like, you know what, God, like I know that I need to do this, so I'm just gonna trust you. So I just all put it in God's hands, and then the rest of it just came to fruition, just figuring it out and trusting God.
Wow. So your faith, obviously we've connected. You've come to a lot of my Holy Spirit vibe gatherings. We get to do all kinds of prayer moments together. It sounds like your faith has really been a strong motivator for you. So tell me how you are able to build this whole brand and put yourself out there so much, but rely on your faith for the strength.
It's all about building the connections within people that I met in the industry in LA. I'm a very community driven person. So like I'm always doing activism stuff. I love working with the community and using my time showcasing that everyone out here needs help. We just all need to be kind, love, and support people. So, being that I connected with individuals like you through friends and connections of experiences and events, I just build that relationship with people and just always have faith and understand that someone comes into your life for a reason, and what is that connection for?
It's so inspiring. And speaking of giving back, you give back 10% of your profits to Plant-Based Treaty. Can you talk a little bit about that organization and what you're hoping to see in the world?
Yes, so Plant-Based Treaty is one of my favorite nonprofit organizations, all about building climate change, making an impact, and social justice about the vegan-driven the community. I am vegan myself 5 years in, and I was always super passionate with working with nonprofit organizations. And like I say, my brand is about a community-driven focus. So I wanted to give back to the community in more of a way than just doing my activism, going out, doing my services for them. I wanted to take some of my funds and invest it into the community because that is where the impact is going to show as well.
Wow, Travis, you're so inspiring. You are an entrepreneur. You are an incredible influential voice in media. You've worked with one of the largest, if not the largest, influential voice in the world. What would you like to see change in the world? I mean, obviously, you're touching so many different industries, and I think that your insights there will be really helpful to hear.
I think first and foremost, it sounds a little cliche, but I just need everybody to be kind. Like, you have to be kind because you will never know in a million years what no one has went through before meeting you, after meeting you, and everything that they've experienced in their life. So you just have to be kind to people and then just always be loving, nurturing, because being kind is truly going to get you a long and far way, and it just makes a more impact on a person that you are.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I was literally having lunch today with one of my friends. She's been on our show before. Her name's Lisa Stewart. And she was literally talking to me about my personal journey, her journey, and kind of how our stories are so different, but so much the same. And that's what I said. I'm like, you don't know how much it cost just for that person to get up to bat. I know with my own story, struggling with depression and suicidal ideations, I've had so many moments and seasons, not just moments, but like seasons of just like fighting back on the difficulty of this life. And what I've realized is that sometimes it's cost them so much more than you realize just to show up, just to smile, shake your hand and say, hi, nice to meet you. I'm Rachel. I'm Travis. Like, I'm trying to do something in the world. I'm doubting it. I'm overwhelmed. I'm overcome. And you're trying to find that passion and that purpose within you that says, I can do this. And there you just saw a person right there and you're just thinking, oh, whatever, like no big deal. Like we have to slow it down. Stop rushing through life thinking that you're about to find the moment that you're meant for. The most important person is the person in front of you. I'm so happy to have this time with you. I love your brand. I think this trend is so on point, and I think it's going to be the new thing because we've seen a lot with sunglasses, but I think this one is really good. Where can we find your brand? How can we shop you and become obsessed? Because I need more
Oh my
with
God.
Travis White.
Well, you can follow my socials at Travis White, but my brand Raven is at Raven, Rayvent, and I will repeat that again. It's Rayvent, and you can shop my sunglasses on Raven.com, and you can check out the 4 shades along with some merchandise as well if you want to make a social impact that way.
You are amazing. Wait, should I try some of these on?
Oh my God, yes.
Should we do this?
Yes.
I mean, I'm going to go for pink first. Let's
That's
be
exactly
honest.
what I wanted because that's the
Okay,
ones for
great.
my girls.
Stop it right now.
Babe.
What do we think?
Babe.
What do we think? Is this the
You
vibe?
look stunning.
Does that get the vote? Okay, wait. And you said that you're about community. You're about gender. It's identity that you're about. It's like helping people find their identity, right?
So it is. It's all about that because, like, just like I was growing up as like a Black queer guy in Louisiana, it was all about finding a path that works for you. And like, I'm all about thinking about the younger creators that's after me to come in to find their identity, to show that, you are loved who you are as a person, and don't you ever think twice about changing for anyone because you're who you are for a reason, and you need to trust that process and know that God is here to guide you.
You are so good. Oh
You're-
my gosh. I hope that people hear your message and get to know you. I've really loved getting to know you over the years. And I'm so excited for more.
I'm so excited, and I appreciate you so much, honey.
I love you. I'm so excited. Okay, you guys, don't go anywhere on the McCord list today. I am coming back with Kenji Orabi. He is a 16-year-old entrepreneur. His product is in 700 Walmart. I can't even believe it. You're not going to believe it anyway. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. I'm Rachel McCord on the McCord list today. And we're back with the McCord list today. I'm Rachel McCord, sitting down with Kenji Urabi. He started his brand at 10 years old, and now you're in over 700 Walmarts. Hello.
Nice to meet you. And yes, it has been a long journey. It's a lot to take in.
It's wild. So your brand's called Fish Kid.
Yes, ma'am.
And you have these really cool combos of fishing rods and the bait, right, that you're
Yes, ma'am.
selling in all of these Walmarts. How did you get started? Tell me about birthing this brand.
So originally it started with a company called B&M Pools out of West Point, Mississippi. And we met with them, had a great fishing time with them also, and basically just built a relationship with them over time. And then eventually came up with an idea to build a fishing rod, and one to show, the youth how to fish, because that is the future of fishing.
Wow. And so you're in Waco, Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
Or Waco. Did I say Waco?
Waco.
Waco. Okay. Well, I was wacky with the way I said that, but that's okay. We're
Yeah.
going to push through it. You know what I mean?
Yes, ma'am.
So you're in Waco, Texas, and you've built this whole brand. It's now in 700 Walmarts. Does that like blow your mind a little bit?
It does, actually. At first I was kind of on the fence on how this is going to go. It may turn into a complete train wreck, but it ended up being really good. And in my mind, I thought that this could be very possible to grow and succeed.
Wow. So you were so inspired to do this because I take it you love fishing.
Yes, ma'am.
So how did you don't have to say ma'am to me, I love you so much. It's going to be hard for you not to say that though, isn't it?
Yes.
Makes me feel like I'm 500 years old.
Yes.
Do I look 500?
No.
Okay, good. Just playing. Okay, so how did you know that this was the path you wanted to take? Like you loved fishing, but then how did you say I'm going to build a business off of this?
Well, this in our current state and day, there's a lot of expenses that goes into fishing. You're going around the country, you're towing a boat, you're towing a trailer with that, and then you have to put gas in your truck, your boat, and there's a lot of expenses involved. So the Fish Kid brand can make revenue. That's obviously one of the things where I was like, wow, this can really help, and at the same time, I'm gonna enjoy it every single step of the way. But it kind of showed a way as to where I can be like, wow, I can help this youth line, because there really isn't that many other brands out there doing that, so it was kind of a good idea in the makings.
That's incredible. And you've done a lot to help the youth. Obviously, you're a junior in high school.
Yes.
And so you've actually done these tournaments that you've put together. You're raising like $10,000 a year. Tell me a little bit about how you do all these extracurriculars while you're running this brand.
You know, the truth is that it's all about enjoyment. You know, when we go out there, it's always new, you know, and when I talk about fishing, something that I love the most about it is it's always different. You know, you go from this side of Texas, you know, I was just telling the story earlier, you go from West Texas to East Texas, and they are completely different. You're down deep in the bayou, and then you'll be in the dirt of the desert. So it is just, it's always changing, and, you know, nature is always changing, and being out there, the peaceful quietness of birds chirping, I couldn't love it more.
That is so sweet. What a dream, because you get to do what you're most passionate about and build this business. Now, was there a point when you were 10 that you talked to your parents or just with yourself, like, and thought, I'm going to build this brand? Or did it just happen organically?
It pretty much happened organically, you know. At first, all I want to do is fish, and I'm still that way, but at the end of the day, you have to go to the realistic part of it, and that's, you know, you have to have some sort of company to utilize that. And so when it comes to expenses, this thing can, one, cover that, but I can also, you know, really reach back to the fishing community. So
How do you manage like your school, your work, your family, fun? Like, how do you navigate all the things that you do?
you know, it's really a lot. Red Bull helps a lot.
Oh my God.
I don't want to admit that, but that's true.
It's okay. No one's going to see
Yeah.
this. Oh, wait.
That definitely helps, but the truth is balance. You know, I try to get on the water. I don't say it's my therapy, but it sure can be. You know, after a long day at school, sometimes just getting out there with my buddy. I'll even say his name's Drew. He's probably one of the most wholesome friends that I've ever met, and I hope he watches this because I could brag about him all day.
Aw, what a blessing. It sounds like you've surrounded yourself with really good people.
Yes.
So building your brand, why fishing? Why did you choose to do this? And is it just for kids? Because it's called Fish Kid. So is it like only for kids, or do you think what's your plan?
Oh, it's not only for kids. It's really just for anybody that wants to be educated. You know, if you want to learn how to throw a spinnerbait, for example, you know, you can learn how to do that through Fish Kit, and that's one of the things that helps benefit the youth, but also anybody that's new to fishing.
That's incredible. What would you say to another 10-year-old out there wanting to maybe have their own brand?
One I can say is don't ever lose hope, don't ever fall down, and just if you have it set on what you want to do, chase it.
Have you
Chase it
had
all the way.
moments where you felt like you were losing hope?
Definitely, you know, there's not always, everybody has their ups and downs, but you know, you get through those downs and you'll have plenty of ups.
What do you do to get through the downs?
One, just enjoy everything about what's going on, you know, just being thankful enough to have problems, you know, and not have to worry about other things, you know, just being fortunate enough to have that. Yeah, that's the biggest thing.
Do all of your friends at school know that you run this hugely successful company?
I don't know about, friend-wise, yes, but my school is so small that I bump into somebody that I just had lunch with yesterday. So it's one of those deals where, like, it's hard for somebody to not know who I am and who I know who they are. So,
Do they act differently around you now, knowing that you've got this incredible enterprise that
oh
you built?
no, we still all talk trash to each other. It's fun, you know. It's not necessarily toxic, but we just always have fun, you know. It definitely makes like a more official type of present, but at the end of the day, we're all still friends, you know. It's a good little community, and yeah.
What do you want to do next? What do you feel like is the next step for Fish Kid?
You know, the next step is to probably grow the brand into other businesses. You know, I don't know where that's headed just yet. The next thing on my turf is to probably go into some of the bigger tournaments and try and compete in those and try to hopefully become victorious. But when there's 200 plus boats, it's not the easiest thing.
So have you had any fun success stories from doing tournaments yourself?
Yeah, a couple, and then some not so much fun, but it's been good.
What makes them not fun?
Sometimes, you know, and and I know a lot of people don't understand this because it's fishing. You know, fishing, you don't expect it to be that serious, but fishing can seriously get really competitive. You know, somebody's over here fishing where you caught a fish the other day, and then now you can't go over there, and it's a big deal. But for the most part, you know, you just stay confident in what you're doing, and you're gonna catch fish. You know, there's most of these lakes, you know, even in the ocean, there's so many fish. You know, people don't understand. You know, if you look at somewhere, like there's so many fish what you're looking at, and they're not just fish, turtles, life. You know what I mean? And that's why there's always opportunities.
I love this. I feel like it's such a good idea for parents to encourage this because it's almost like detaching from screens and getting out into nature. You said it's therapeutic for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Was there a moment when you first walked into Walmart and saw your product there for the first time that you were just kind of like, I mean, this is pretty epic?
Yeah. It really, like, you know, you hear about it, and then it's finally there, and you're like, whoa, what's this now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How old were you when it went into Walmart?
I think only 14. Yeah, I don't think it was that long ago. So
there is no excuse for all of us over here trying to build our dreams. You were 14 years old and your brand was in Walmart.
Yes, ma'am.
Iconic.
Yeah.
It's such an inspiration. Do you think you're going to go on and share your story as a founder and help other kids become kidpreneurs?
I haven't given it that much thought yet. You know, it's a lot going on, and now with, you know, I can't really speak upon it, but there's going to be some other things coming up soon, and it's going to be pretty big. I don't know where it's all headed just yet. I hope it goes well. You know, there's no guarantees, but that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Okay, last question. What's a day in the life of a 16-year-old entrepreneur?
Mostly getting plenty of sleep. You know, coming here to meet with you. You know, I was running off not enough sleep. You know. My dad says 10 hours is plenty. No, it's not. It is not. You know, once again, Red Bulls.
This is not sponsored by Red Bull, just to be clear.
It is, it's a lot, but at the end of the day, you know, it doesn't take away the normal life. You know, I still enjoy the time with my friends. You know, we still go eat dinner, and I have a great family.
That's amazing. So on Instagram, it's Fish Kid Kenji.
Yes, ma'am.
And we can find you in all Walmarts. Can we also shop it at fishkid.com, or where can we go?
That is in the works.
Okay.
That is in the works.
To be continued.
Yes, ma'am.
That's amazing. Kenji, thank you so much for coming in. You're so cool and inspiring. I can't wait to show Jude, my little man, your episode. He's your biggest fan. And once he learns that you're also an entrepreneur, he's just going to be blown away even more. All right, well, thank you so much. Don't you guys go anywhere. When we come back, we're going to be talking to Rochelle Broden. She is a former top model turned incredible photographer, from walking red carpets and runway shows alongside Heidi Klum for amazing designers like Roberto Cavalli. She's now here talking about her business and what she's doing next. Can't wait to show you. Don't go anywhere on the McCord List today. I'm Rochelle McCord. Welcome back to the McCord List today. I'm Rochelle McCord, sitting down with top model, photographer, mom, all the things, Rochelle Broden. Hi, beautiful.
Aw, thank you so much. Hi, beautiful to you too.
I'm so glad you're here. It is a lot. I know when you're running a business and you're a mom, you've already taken like 90% of your time. So thank you for making the time to be here. I want to jump right in and talk a little bit about how you made the move. You were modeling alongside the Heidi Klums of the world, walking runway shows for Roberto Cavalli. That's incredible. Tell us a little bit about how you started there and how you made the shift to behind the camera.
Okay. So 15 years of age, I started modeling. I was probably 5'10" in height, and this looked like this, but way cuter.
You were stunning, so wow.
So young. So I started doing that, doing fashion shows, traveled the world. I actually didn't work alongside with Heidi Klum. That's a little bit of a different generation, but I did model for her at one point.
Wow, that's incredible.
So I did fashion shows, 15 years of age, cut to 15 years later, had my son. Then I fell in love with taking pictures of him, mainly. And I thought it was an Ann Getty's photographer at the time. I was like, fascinated by lighting him, putting him in little, fruit bowls and things like that. And I'm like, okay, I think I'm good at this. And it was at that time I decided to go to school for photography. So I was living in London. I went to a part-time school called the London School of Photography. And then I got really deep into it. I fell in love with my camera. I fell in love with taking pictures every day, photojournalistic style. And I really enjoy being behind the scenes now. I really, really love my job. I'm so passionate about photography. So I guess that transition came from knowing lighting, right? Wow. So we all kind of know lighting as a model. We're in front of the camera, we see the lights, we're on set, we look around. I wish I absorbed more then. And then when I got to school, I learned how to light subjects, learned how to use my camera in manual mode. And then I assisted many photographers, and here I am today doing my own business. And it's been a fantastic ride.
Wow, how old was your son when you went to school for this?
He was a baby. He was, 6 months of age, between 6 months to about 18 months of age.
Wow, and you're probably not even sleeping through the night at that age. So you're like around the clock and building this dream, and
Yep.
now you do it. Obviously, we've gotten to shoot together. You
Yes.
photographed me for Getty in the past.
Yes.
My sister as well.
Yes.
How incredible. So what has it been like building this business? Of course, the industry is ever changing.
Ever changing. Oh gosh. I wish the iPhone, the iPhone's really definitely changed our industry as a photographer, but it is improved and it also helps me in so many ways. The big cameras that I own are very, very expensive. They're insured. They're also, I remember when I first started with Getty, I was running around taking pictures and I had to write people's names down, like who was in the photo. And then the first Canon camera, the 1DX, came out, and that's when I spent like $6,700 on a body, which is crazy to me. I had to invest in myself,
And that's a big risk, especially when you're a parent.
Yeah.
You're raising a child and
On my
everything's
own
expensive.
too, by the way. I was married, but then I got divorced when the baby was 18 months old. So I was really pushing through, just working hard as I could, making my name for myself as a photographer, and then, putting the baby to sleep and doing the editing and just doing it all,
Wow. Okay, so for those at home who don't know what Getty is, can you talk a little bit about what Getty is and how you got into being a photographer for Getty? Because it's a pretty big deal.
Oh, thank you. So Getty Images,
How
they
do
own
you describe
everything.
Getty?
They own
Yeah.
everything.
They own the world.
They own the world. I was fortunate enough to be shooting, I think it was the Critics' Choice Awards for a client of mine prior to meeting Getty. And I was walking around the green room or something, and Roxanne Morametti, she found me and she goes, "Who are you shooting for?" And I was like, myself and, iPic Theaters, I don't know. She's like, "Well, here's my card. Come in and I want to interview you." So I had 2 different interviews. I think there was 8 people in the room each time. But it's one of those big syndication companies as you hear about, right? They own pictures, they own real estate. I think having gotten in with them those many years ago gave me access to more events, like also photographing you. But I've always been my own business. I've always had Rochelle Broden Photography as my overhead, and I syndicate through them, meaning I'll take photos of celebrities at events, and then I channel it through their company, and then I make sales from those pictures.
Being sold to
Yeah,
publications.
right.
So was there a celebrity that you interviewed once and you're like, oh my goodness, I got to do this one? Is there one that you got pretty giddy about?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I've met so many and photographed so many celebrities. The one that really just made my heart sing was Lady Gaga.
Okay.
I'm a huge fan. So when I was in a room with Lady Gaga, with probably 15 or 20 people in the room, and
So
she's
small.
sitting from here playing on her grand piano, just right there, maybe 5 feet away.
Wow.
Just pouring her soul into her music. And actually Diane Warren was sitting there turning the pages for her as she read the music. There was not a dry eye in that room. It was just so real and so honest. And she's an incredible artist. So that's one that just, I was running home like, oh my God, I can't wait to edit. Oh my God, I can't wait to edit. You know, that was one celebrity that will truly, I would love to photograph her again in studio, right? So yeah.
And thinking back as a single mom, investing $6,600 into yourself, into your business, with the hope of what could be from that, because of course that's taking a big risk and really betting on yourself. Must have been pretty cool sitting there in this tiny room with Lady Gaga, like, I was right.
I was right. Yeah, I was right.
What advice would you have for someone who wants to bet on themselves? Maybe they dream of being an entrepreneur, they dream of stepping out of what they're doing. Maybe they've been working in corporate America or something the same for so long, but maybe they dream of doing something different, but they're afraid to invest in themselves. What would you say to that person?
Oh, don't be afraid to invest in your passion. If you're sitting in a cubicle and you're unhappy with your job, maybe you're a nurse and you're just like, oh, I can't do this anymore. I just want to be creative. And if you have that creative edge, go for it. And every way possible. Whether it, you could start a business, borrow money, open a credit card account, put the camera on the credit card, you know what I mean? Cameras are not that expensive now, maybe about $5,000. You can get a whole kit. Let's just see. The passion was always there. So for me, it wasn't a far stretch. And if you have that passion in yourself, just pray about it, feel it out, and go for it. That's my advice. I would say, doing what you love is more important than just sitting back and doing the motions,
And I think about too, like becoming an entrepreneur, of course, you're investing so much in your business, but also like investing, like you said, in your passion, investing in what you love. I feel like those are one of those things that you never look back and regret. I think that so many of us start off our careers and we start off our lives with these dreams of what we could do, and everyone says, what do you want to do when you grow up? What do you want to be? And all these things. And I feel like a lot of us think about what we want to do in like a very like transactional sense. And then we find ourselves stuck and discouraged and sad because it's not what we set out. It's not what we're really passionate about. Maybe we didn't know that when we were making these huge life decisions about where was I going to go to college? Who was I going to study behind? Who was going to mentor me? And then you get to the season, you're like, I can't do it anymore. It's like a midlife crisis where you're just like, I'm done. But then if you really think about, the best businesses are created with the end in mind. You think about, or like building a family, right? Like, what do you really want this to look like in 20 years? And then you build it back from there. And I think since my open heart surgery, I really shifted the way I see things, where I'm thinking about like, who do I want to be one day when this is it? Because I thought that I was at the end of that road. I mean, they stopped my heart for this surgery. So you kind of get to this place. I was preparing for 2 weeks as a mom, as a wife.
That's hard.
Just really looking at my life, like, have I been a good steward of the time? Like, have I really stewarded this time that I've had on this earth well? And it shifted the way that I think about everything now. Because I think sometimes when I'm overwhelmed and I'm stressed and I'm trying to do all my prep for my shows and everything, I'm like, it's my job to sit down with another human being and show them that they're loved, that they're seen, that they're honored for what they've built. They're seen, and it matters. What you share today matters, because there's someone on the other side of this who needs to hear it. When I started the McCord list, I had a dream to help just 5 people. My husband said, because I had a lot of self-doubt, and he said, if you could help just 5 people, would they be worth it? And I'm like, 5 whole people, yeah, of course it's worth it. And so I think about, for you, showing up today, taking a break from everything you're doing to share this message. You're helping those 5 people. So thank you.
That's amazing. I feel so blessed that, well, first of all, that you're called to do this. This is amazing. I'm so proud of you. And women helping women, that makes me feel really good. I love helping other women with what they do. I can't believe you had to go through that. That's scary, especially with having a child. And they had to stop your heart.
It was wild.
Were you scared?
I was terrified. I really didn't know I was going to survive. It wasn't like one of those things like, oh, I got this in the bag. My surgeon was like, there's one in every 5 people don't survive this surgery. So it's pretty scary to like, be taking tons of meds to make sure you don't have a stroke, and you're in your 30s and you're like,
Crazy.
what?
I've
Yeah.
never experienced anything that difficult. So
It's wild. But we all have our difficulties, right? But when we apply that into the world at large and we think, you never know what it costs someone to show up. But if we can honor their presence and honor the gift of them, the gift of the present, then we've really done a lot for them and for the world at large. Thank you so much for being
wow.
here. You were so
Thank you.
inspiring.
Thank
Where
you.
can we follow everything that you're doing so that we can get more?
Oh, thank you. My name is Rochelle Broden, Brodin, and it's just my name, RochelleBroden.com. And I have an Instagram, Rochelle Broden Photo, and soon to be a wedding website that's going to be under different name, but maybe my same name, not sure yet. But I'm really pushing the weddings because I really love them. I just came back from New York having shot one, so I love love. I love people. I love hanging out with you. Let's chat more. And I want to photograph you again properly.
Oh my
Let's
goodness,
do it.
please.
Let's do like a full-on photo shoot here. This lighting is incredible.
Done.
Yeah.
You name the day. Thank you
Okay.
so much,
Thank
Rochelle.
you.
Such an honor to have you.
Can I have a hug?
Yes,
You're so
of
cute.
course. Oh, you're so sweet. Mwah. All right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the McCord List today. I'm Rachel McCord. That is our show. We will see you next time.